What if your body was sending you silent signals that your arteries were clogged and you didn't even know it? For many seniors, heart attacks and strokes seem like sudden events, something that just happens in a day. But in reality, warning signs often appear long before any medical emergency. The problem is, these signs aren't always obvious. In fact, some of them are so subtle that they're easy to dismiss as part of the aging process. But ignoring them can be a serious mistake. This video is specifically for seniors who want to protect their hearts and live longer and healthier. We'll look at 5 of the most common, surprising signs that your arteries may be clogged. These aren't just typical symptoms like chest pain. We're talking about lesser-known clues, things you might not think about but could actually be your body's way of waving a warning flag. So stick with us. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look out for, but you'll also feel more confident in your ability to protect your health and make smart moves. Let's get started. The first sign is discomfort in your jaw or neck. Most people think of chest pain when they imagine clogged arteries. But what if I told you that one of the earliest signs of clogged arteries might not be in your chest, but in your jaw or neck? This is absolutely true and surprisingly common. Discomfort in these areas, especially during physical activity or stress, can be your body's subtle cry for help. And the more you ignore it, the more dangerous it becomes. When arteries start to clog, reduced blood flow doesn't just directly affect your heart. It can also cause a condition called referred pain. Pain that radiates to areas like the lower jaw, throat, shoulders, or even the back. For many older people, it can feel like a tightness, pressure, or dull ache in the chest. And because it's not the typical chest pain we associate with heart disease, it's often dismissed as a muscle strain or dental problem. Take 74-year-old Alina, for example. She started noticing a strange pain in her jaw during her afternoon walks. At first, she thought she was grinding her teeth in her sleep or clenching her jaw out of habit, but it kept coming, especially when she exerted herself, and it always went away when she rested. After her daughter's insistence, Alina went to the doctor. The diagnosis was angina, caused by reduced blood flow to the heart, manifesting as jaw discomfort. She was stunned. The strange feeling in her jaw was actually a warning sign, beckoning right in front of her. There's a psychological reason why signs like these are so easy to ignore. As we age, we tend to become experts at pushing through discomfort. We've lived through decades of pain, so we're used to ignoring new ones. But subtle doesn't mean harmless. In fact, when it comes to arteries, subtle signs are often the only clues your body gives you before a much more serious event, like a heart attack. So if you feel an unexplained tightness in your jaw, a tightness in your neck, or any discomfort that seems to come and go with activity or emotion, take it seriously. It's not a matter of panic. It's a matter of being proactive. You deserve to enjoy your later years with strength, clarity, and vitality. But that starts with recognizing the signs your body is sending you, no matter how small they may seem. Second sign, fatigue after light exercise. Feeling tired after climbing a few flights of stairs or taking a short walk around the block may seem like a normal part of aging. But if you're over 60 and suddenly find yourself gasping for air or exhausted from things that never bothered you before, your body may be trying to tell you something more serious. That kind of fatigue isn't always related to poor sleep or simply getting older. It could be a sign that your heart isn't getting enough oxygen-rich blood and that your arteries may be narrowing or becoming clogged. When your arteries are clogged, it's harder for blood to flow. That means less oxygen and fewer nutrients get to your muscles. So even the most basic activities, like walking to the mailbox, gardening, carrying groceries, can start to feel like a workout. And as your heart works harder to push blood through those narrowed passages, you tire more quickly. It's not just physical fatigue. You may notice mental fogginess, loss of concentration, or even a strange feeling of irritability. What's particularly difficult is that many older people often overlook this. They think, well, I'm not 40 anymore. Of course I'm slowing down, but it's not about age, it's about blood flow. Healthy older people in their 70s and 80s still have energy, still walk, still enjoy movement without feeling exhausted. So when a drop in energy makes you feel unusual, it's a big sign to pay attention to. There's also an emotional layer to this. When you don't have the energy to do the things you love, it's easy to start withdrawing, skipping social events, turning down invitations, or staying home more. His legs felt heavy, and he was breathing faster than usual. He assumed it was just age and didn't think much of it until one day. His daughter noticed that his lips looked a little blue. They took him to the doctor, and after some tests, it turned out that his arteries were more than 80% blocked. They caught it just in time. So if you notice unusual fatigue during your daily activities, don't ignore it. You know your body better than anyone else. When something is wrong, listen to your inner voice. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. If you're still watching this video and found these insights helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Your support helps us continue to create content that is helpful, informative, and inspiring. Now, let's move on. Sign number 3, erectile dysfunction in men. When arteries start to clog, the first place to be affected isn't always the heart or the brain. It's often the smallest blood vessels in your body. And for men over 60, that means one of the earliest signs of poor circulation can be lurking in the bedroom. Erectile dysfunction, or difficulty getting or maintaining an erection, can be a subtle but serious sign that your arteries aren't supplying blood as they should. Here's why this is important. Erections are all about healthy blood flow. The arteries in the penis are much smaller than the arteries that lead to the heart. So if plaque starts to build up, these smaller blood vessels feel the impact first. This means that in many cases, sexual problems aren't just a matter of age or stress. They can be one of the earliest warning signs of heart disease. And unfortunately, too many older men assume it's just age without ever looking further. Take Raymond. He's 68 and has always been healthy, relatively active, and eats well. But he started to notice that intimacy wasn't what it used to be. It wasn't a sudden change. It just took longer and it didn't happen as often. He felt embarrassed, thinking it was normal, aging, and avoided talking to his doctor. A few months later, after experiencing mild chest pain while climbing stairs, he went in for a test. The results showed significant blockages in several arteries. The signs had been there all along. They just weren't what most people expected. There was a deeper emotional layer at play, too. For many men, sexual health is tied to confidence, identity, and emotional well-being. When something goes wrong in this area, it can quietly eat away at your self-esteem. That's why this sign is often more hidden than others. But ignoring it won't make it go away, and it certainly won't stop what's going on inside your arteries. If you notice changes in your sexual function, don't be embarrassed or afraid. Think of it as your body giving you a chance to act before something more serious happens. The good news is that many men who catch it early and make the appropriate lifestyle or medical changes can not only restore their vitality, but also avoid heart attacks or strokes later in life. It's not just about sex, it's about life itself. Sometimes the most intimate signs are the most powerful. Your body is always telling the truth, you just have to be willing to listen. The 4th sign, poor memory or mental decline. If your memory is failing more than usual, or if you find yourself stopping mid-sentence, trying to recall simple words or names, you might assume it's just normal aging. But what if I told you that your brain fog could actually be a sign of clogged arteries? After age 60, poor circulation becomes one of the most overlooked causes of mental decline, and it often starts silently. The brain is one of the hungriest organs in the body. It consumes about 20% of your total oxygen and energy, even though it only makes up about 2% of your body weight. That energy is transported through the arteries. So when these arteries narrow or harden with plaque, it becomes harder for blood, oxygen, and nutrients to reach the brain, and the consequences don't always manifest as serious symptoms like a stroke. More often, they're subtle: forgetting names more often, having trouble concentrating, or feeling like your brain isn't as sharp as it used to be. Consider a real-life example. Carol, 72, started feeling increasingly foggy. She's always been sharp, organized, and quick-witted. But over the past year, she's found herself getting dates mixed up, walking into rooms without knowing why, or reading the same passage over and over again because she can't remember it all. Friends told her it was just part of aging, but her intuition told her otherwise. Finally, a checkup revealed high blood pressure and early signs of coronary artery disease, which narrows the very blood vessels that feed the brain. After she adjusted her circulation through lifestyle changes and medication, her clarity gradually returned. There was also an emotional impact. For many seniors, struggling with memory can be frightening. Fear of memory loss, fear of dependence, fear of losing control. But recognizing the physical cause of these changes not only brought relief, but also opened a way forward. When it comes to clogged arteries, the problem may not be permanent, especially if addressed early. It was a wake-up call, not a life sentence. So if you find yourself a little more forgetful, don't ignore it. Ask yourself, is this really normal aging, or could there be a deeper problem? The good news is that your brain wants to heal. As circulation improves, so does function. And if you're still watching this video and you found these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue to create content that is helpful, informative, and inspiring. Now, let's move on. Sign number 5, erectile dysfunction or decreased sexual function. Most people wouldn't think that problems in the bedroom are a warning sign of heart disease. But the truth is, erectile dysfunction is often the body's earliest sign that there's a problem with your arteries, sometimes years before other symptoms appear. After age 60, this becomes especially important not only for your quality of life, but also for your health and longevity. Here, SY, erections depend on healthy blood flow, and the arteries that supply blood to the penis are much narrower than those that lead to the heart or brain. That means they're often the first to be affected when plaque starts to build up. In many cases, when blood can't get to those vessels properly, it leads to difficulty getting or maintaining an erection. And while many men blame aging or low testosterone, studies have shown that the problem can be a reliable early predictor of coronary artery disease. Take Frank, a 69-year-old retired engineer. He'd always been active and prided himself on being in good shape for his age. But about a year ago, he noticed changes. Nothing major, just a decline in his performance and sex drive. At first, he dismissed it as part of aging. But when a friend told him he'd had a heart scan after experiencing similar symptoms, Frank decided to get checked out. The results shocked him. He had significant narrowing of the arteries, especially in his lower body and heart. Fortunately, the disease was detected in time. Thanks to treatment and lifestyle changes, not only has his blood circulation improved, but his confidence and energy have also increased. Now let's look at this from a psychological perspective. For many older men, a decline in sexual ability is a personal failure. It can lead to embarrassment, frustration, or even depression. But seeing it as an underlying circulation problem removes blame and opens the door to action. Instead of thinking, "I'm getting older," the question becomes, "Is my body trying to tell me something?" It's worth noting that women can also experience changes in sexual function related to poor circulation, such as dryness or decreased sensation. Again, these signs are easy to ignore or feel embarrassed about, but in both men and women, they can indicate underlying arterial problems that need attention. So if you or your partner notice changes in the bedroom, consider it a message from your body, not just a sign of aging. Paying attention to your blood flow and heart health can make a bigger difference than you might think, not just in your relationships, but in your overall health and future. Final thoughts. By now, you may have realized that clogged arteries don't always signal with sharp chest pain or obvious warning signs. In fact, the body often whispers before it speaks. And the 5 signs we've discussed today, including unusual fatigue, jaw or neck discomfort, leg pain when walking, frequent indigestion, and changes in sexual function, are those whispers. We warn you that they're not meant to scare you. They're meant to empower you. As we age, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that all discomfort is just part of aging. But when we accept discomfort as normal, we risk missing out on opportunities to intervene. The truth is, many of the changes we associate with aging are actually related to circulatory decline. And unlike aging, circulatory problems can often be improved, sometimes dramatically, with awareness, lifestyle changes, and prompt medical care. Think about it for a moment. Think about how many people you know who didn't know their arteries were clogged until it was discovered. A sudden heart attack, a stroke of unknown cause. The truth is, These events rarely come out of the blue. The signs may have been there. They just weren't recognized. And maybe, just maybe, you've noticed one or two of these signs in yourself or a loved one. That doesn't mean it's too late. In fact, it means now is the perfect time to take action. Start by listening to your body with fresh ears. Talk to your doctor about what you notice. Remember, the sooner you act, the more power you have to protect your heart, your brain, and your independence. You deserve to live your final years with vitality, clarity, and peace of mind. Don't let silent symptoms take that away from you. Stay curious, stay proactive, and above all, stay hopeful. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them.